The silence coming out of Dunedin hurts more than any boo at the Rogers Center. We know what it means. Every Blue Jays fan, deep down, feels their stomach drop when they realize that the guy who embodied this team's grit over the last 3 years has 1 foot out of Canada. Chris Basset isn't just an arm. He's the kind of player you learn to respect because he doesn't shy away from the fire. And now, while snow still covers the streets of Toronto, his fate seems to be getting decided in boardrooms far away from here. It's hard to process right away. We just lived the euphoria of a World Series title. The image of Basset coming out of the bullpen in that fireman role, putting out fires with an ice-cold calm that looked like frozen veins, that sticks with you. A 1.04 ERA over 7 postseason games isn't luck, it's character. And seeing that guy now, stuck in limbo, waiting to find out whether he's packing his bags for Arizona or Florida, is a cruel reminder that baseball is a cold business. Johnny Junta dropped the bomb at gate 14, and we have to face reality. Basset admitted to him that he's never waited this long to know where he'll be playing. That says a lot about today's market, but it says even more about the void he leaves here. The man gave us 32 games, 11 wins, and nearly 200 innings of pure effort. He was our workhorse, and now he's on the radar of 4 teams. And that's where the knife twists. Cubs, Padres, and the 2 that really make your blood boil, the Orioles and the Yankees. Picture Basset in pinstripes in the Bronx, or worse, helping Baltimore solidify that young, annoying core. John Heyman has already made it clear that the Orioles are hunting for starters after losing Framber Valdez to the Tigers. They need someone who can eat innings, someone who doesn't flinch when the game tightens up. Basset is the perfect fit for them. And for the Yankees, with Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon starting the season on the injured list, Basset becomes the luxury lifeboat they'd love to steal from us. But let's be honest, why aren't we fighting for him? The answer is technical, financial, and, for many of us, frustrating. The $63 million contract is over. The cycle has closed. Management looks at the roster and sees Kevin Gausman and Dylan Cease at the top. They see Shane Bieber trying to rediscover his form, the kid Trey Yesavage knocking on the door, and names like Cody Ponce, Jose Barrios, and Eric Lauer floating around. Mitch Bannon of The Athletic calls this a good problem. 7 starters for 5 spots. On paper, the depth is beautiful. Fangraphs loves us, ranking the Blue Jays as the 7th most valuable team in the league heading into spring training. But paper doesn't pitch the 9th inning of a playoff game against the Yankees. We're trading the certainty of Basset for a bet on Bieber's health or Yesavage's development. It's a risk. Calculated, maybe, but a risk that ignores the human factor. The clubhouse loved Basset. The fan who crosses the border or takes the GO train to the game felt safe with him on the mound. He had that necessary edge, that look of someone who knows exactly what he's doing, even when it feels like the world is collapsing. The problem with having too many starters is that in baseball, that only lasts until the first muscle strain in the first bullpen session of March. If Bieber needs a slower ramp-up, or if Barrios has one of those shaky starts to the season, we're going to look at Baltimore or New York and see Basset doing exactly what he did here. Winning ugly games. 6 innings, 3 runs, 95 pitches, and a will to win that you don't teach at a prospect academy. Now, stop everything, because there's a detail here that changes the game. We talk about loyalty, but Basset is a professional. He saw the team rise to the top. He was the unlikely hero out of the bullpen in the World Series. What else does he have to prove in Toronto? Maybe the front office's silence is a mutual signal that it's time to move on. The problem is where he goes. If he signs with the Padres or Cubs, we clap from afar, thank him for his service, and move on. But if he shows up in the AL East, if he comes back to the Rogers Center on March 27th wearing another uniform, the reception will be a mix of respect and a deep fear that he knows exactly how to exploit our hitters' weaknesses. The market is frozen. It's bizarre to think that a guy with his recent resume still doesn't have a cap to wear in spring training. But he'll sign, and it'll be soon, and we'll have to settle for the narrative that roster depth makes up for losing the soul of the group. At the end of the day, the 2026 Toronto Blue Jays are betting on youth and statistical efficiency. We're leaving the past, even a recent victorious past, behind in the name of a more flexible payroll or a younger rotation. It's the cold logic of MLB. But anyone who sits in those blue seats at the Rogers Center knows that statistics don't win a 1-0 game with the bases loaded. The guy who wins is the guy who doesn't blink, and that guy is about to take his 8-pitch arsenal somewhere else. What remains to be seen is whether we'll miss Basset on opening day against the Athletics, or whether this new rotation will make us forget that we once needed a hero out of the bullpen to lift a trophy. The risk isn't the talent we have today, it's the experience we're letting walk out the front door. And you, do you think this depth of 7 starters is really real, or are we just counting on luck before the first pitch is even thrown in Dunedin? The debate is open, but Bassett's time in Toronto, unfortunately, already feels like a memory. Do you think the front office is being negligent by allowing a veteran of this caliber to strengthen a direct divisional rival?